All right.
This stand-up comedian is being humiliated in front of the entire world and does not know how to make it stop. Akash Singh is mostly known as being the sidekick to Andrew Schultz on the Flagrant podcast. His wife Jasleen recently started creating content that many feel is shocking or distasteful coming from a married woman.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So for context, I went to college from 2011 to 2016. I was popping and living my best life in these white boy frat houses.
She said every red flag word in like 10 seconds, bro. She missed college, white boy frats, and popping. That's just a bonus. That's just a big bonus. God damn. Was they together when she said this?
And I had a roster of guys that I would rotate.
Oh my God, I wasn't prepared for this reaction. Hold on, wait. I wasn't mentally ready for the surprises, man. All right, hold on. So, okay, there's 4 things now.
This is not a two-way street. This is a one-way street. His money is our money, and my money is mine.
And if you think those clips are bad...
You tell him, your money is my money. I'm an entrepreneur.
Trust me, it gets so much worse. Like when she expressed how badly she wanted to sleep with her co-host's husband.
Would y'all ever have an orgy together with your husband? Rhea, I'm actively trying to have an orgy because this couple is good looking and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you fucking see him. Maybe. I just know that Nav's is like at least 10 inches.
You would only be down for an orgy
or it's thick.
Jasleen regularly romanticizes sleeping with other men, films her arguments with Akash to post on TikTok, brags about being a gold digger, and actively refuses to kiss her husband in public, not even during his proposal. This is the type of relationship that 99%...
No. I have no reason to, but let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Some people don't like that PDA shit.
Of you watching pray you will never find yourself in. But anyone who criticizes Jasleen and the potential harmful influence she may have on couples, she calls them incel red pillars. Then again, it's somewhat understandable considering sometimes the right message can come from the wrong messenger, because Akash was actually warned by the Fresh and Fit podcast that he was going to find himself in this exact type of situation. In the early 2020s, there was a digital uprising of self-proclaimed alpha males who claimed their traditional views of masculinity were directly conflicting with mainstream liberal ideologies. Guys like Myron Gaines and Walter Weeks of the Fresh and Fit podcast got viral attention talking about traditional gender roles, relationship dynamics, and what being a real man is. And even though Akash and Andrew host a comedy podcast, they often dabble in more serious, broader social commentary, which led to them inviting on the Fresh and Fit guys to discuss some of their views on masculinity and relationships, many of which Akash disagreed with. He was particularly...
Doesn't like PDA, but wants an orgy. Some people are like private whores, you know? They ain't gotta be public about their whoreness. There's nothing wrong with that.
Bothered by this phrase or relationship philosophy that Fresh and Fit used that said, pimp or be pimped.
One person in the relationship, whoever cares less, has the leverage, and we want the guy to always care less. We want the man to always have the leverage.
Childish as
and you guys might not like hearing that.
Childish.
But we truly feel.
I'm not. These aren't new beliefs, bro. You're not telling me some none of us have ever heard. We all heard this from fraternity guys in college. I'm saying there's room in and I don't have a problem with a lot of the stuff you say. I just think there is room for growth, and you guys' refusal to acknowledge it almost kind of proves it to me, confirms it to me that you guys are not willing to grow right now, and that's fine. That's some ego.
Throughout the pod, Andrew seemed to have no problem having a serious, calm conversation about someone else's worldview despite not fully agreeing with it. But Akash was clearly much more upset with what they were saying. Most of the podcast, it didn't feel like he was listening, but rather just waiting for his turn to speak and assert his own personal philosophy on dating.
I hate when niggas do that. Just don't even bother having a
For
convo with
Fresh
me.
and Fit, we're mostly known to say outlandish and straight up disrespectful things about women on a regular basis. So most people naturally sided with Akash's view of equity and equality in relationships, as well as understood his general frustration towards these guys. What we would later discover is that the reality of Akash's own personal relationship reflected the exact situation that Fresh and Fit were trying to warn him about. But before we dive deeper, I want to talk about one of the most disturbing with that tip for the next few members of the Flagrant and Fresh and Fit podcast would trade shots at each other over the next few years, but tensions reached a boiling point when Myron of the Fresh and Fit podcast called out Akash and his wife Jasleen. He tweeted, "Akash Singh tried to lecture me about women years ago. Here's his wife making a mockery of him and herself on a podcast." And linked below was a full episode of the Main Character podcast hosted by Jasleen Singh and her friend Nahal Mawani. The women described their podcast as unfiltered girl talk and sells itself as being for the ones who live life like the plot revolves around them, because it does. This description on the surface is relatively harmless, but once you take a closer look at the podcast itself, you see that this description is extremely accurate. Two women who think they're the main characters of the world talking about themselves with absolutely no filter. One comment that stood out in this episode was where Jasleen discusses her and her husband's finances.
Man that doesn't want to have a joint bank account or isn't being transparent with his accounts or has separate accounts, that's a red flag. And I will say it again because I know there's going to be already like incel troll mother. This is not a two-way street. This is a one-way street. His money is our money and my money is my money. And look, I only made $600 from content creating.
Wow, I went up $100 from last week.
But that's my money. Okay? So just so we're clear, no, that's...
Yo, look at this. The first thing I see in the chat is get a fucking job.
That's actually a red flag because
She's doing her job right now. She's podcasting, bro.
In my life, personally, that have been with guys that weren't transparent about money and they ended up being terrible in other aspects and like people ended up breaking up in divorces, et cetera, et cetera. So that is actually my number one. They must be generous with their finances from day one.
For context, Jasleen is not a celebrity by any means. She does not have a job of her own and has only been able to build her internet following thanks to her husband supplementing her lifestyle. And this is not...
You know what I don't like about that? Like, technically what she said, that last part she said is not crazy. Like, if I'm assuming they're talking about, like, if you're married, like, you should be doing the most for your significant other, right? Facts. But in any relationship with anybody, at work, friends, it don't matter. If this shit feel lopsided long enough, you're gonna feel like you're getting hoed. Facts. After the whole aura, the lust, like the exciting part, you're gonna feel like you're getting hoed. You're gonna feel like, why am I doing everything, bro?
I don't
know if that's their dynamic. He'll probably tell us at some point in the video.
At all. She talks about this a lot in her content, and some even think she brags about it.
Okay, hi, my name is Jasleen, and these are things that I do as a stay-at-home wife.
What?
Or sorry, I don't do. I don't cook, I don't clean, and I don't do my husband's laundry. I feel that I don't have to do things to justify or prove my worth that I'm...
You do. This is the biggest misconception in the world today. You do, bro. You have to work that job, whatever it is. You have to. Like, you have to think, if we weren't all... Look. Food doesn't just show up on the counter, my nigga. Somebody planted it. Somebody farmed it. A truck driver shipped it. It got to the grocery store. Somebody stocked it. And then it got all the way into your fucking hands. All those people need to get paid. The same concept apply in personal relationships. You do have to prove yourself. You can't do nothing. You're useless. Who wants to be around somebody that's useless?
Allowed to do this.
Now, some may interpret this as just jokes, but she also frequently posts day in my life videos where she romanticizes her routine of doing essentially nothing all day long.
I actually do this. I just do this. Like, I sit here.
This.
Now, if this is the agreement this couple has in their relationship, then that's fine. It is what it is.
Facts.
Being a stay-at-home wife or mother is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of, but it's the aggressive tone and entitlement she gives off that has earned her the label
That's
of...
so boring. That was what I thought. But everybody wired differently, you know? Like, type of nigga I am, if I'm not always doing something, I get bored fast. But it's, I don't know, there's probably... maybe she's having fun doing actually nothing. To me, it feels like you're wasting life, but maybe that for her, it's like the way to live her life. And let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he would just say something if he wasn't comfortable with that. Maybe he's cool with just pampering her and her doing genuinely actually nothing. A stay at home implies some responsibility, but she doesn't even have those.
a gold digger, something that she subtly implies to be.
Now, like, people are like, oh, that's gold digging, or that's something. No, it's not.
Okay, then I'm digging.
Yeah.
If that wasn't bad enough, Ghislaine frequently discusses other men that she would like to cheat on her husband with.
I never watched
You're
the
lying.
show, but, like, he's on my hall pass list.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Chase Crawford, Jacob Elordi, Austin Butler.
Now, some people see the whole celebrity crush thing as unserious because the celebrity feels so distant, so unreachable, that it's basically the same thing as fantasizing about a fictional character. Like, it's not really cheating because in their minds the situation is so unrealistic that it becomes harmless. Others see this as straight up openly admitting they'd hook up with someone else that wasn't their husband because celebrities are just people too, after all.
That, him in that movie, like, did kind of, like, rewire my sexual...
But is that your type? Ben Beard
What?
before?
Not anymore, but, like, he was so hot and
Yeah.
tall, and he's like, Mera Naam Bunny, like Bugs Bunny. And I was like, okay.
But Ghislaine didn't...
Facts. Like my temptation is to pause every time she says something, gang. I'm trying my hardest not to though.
just openly fantasize about sleeping with other famous men. She quite literally admitted to wanting to sleep with her co-host husband, Nav.
Oh,
Would y'all ever have an together with your husband?
Priya,
She tried.
I'm actively trying to have an because this couple
Is this girl
so
talk?
good looking, and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you see him. His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband.
No, I kind of love it, but I'm like,
No.
us for it? Okay, maybe.
I just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches.
You would only be down.
Alright. When we do that with the boys, alright, we're just joking. We're not gonna suck and fuck each other's dicks. But I will say, if you are attracted to dick and you're fantasizing about dick, you want that dick. There's no way around it. There's no way around that. We don't do that. Right. Yeah, you're right. Not my fault. Yeah. Hey, anybody that does that wants that dick.
For an orgy of
Or it's thick.
Good
It's
catch,
thick.
chat.
The original question was a joke about all four of them sleeping together. However, Ghislaine only talks about Nav and never mentions her own husband, even excluding him from the hypothetical and talking about a three-person situation. Nahal clearly attempts to steer the conversation back to the dynamic being four people to respect Akash, while Ghislaine continues to fantasize about Nav. Once again, you could argue that Ghislaine is just joking. But when you joke about something over and over again, especially in a short period of time, you start to wonder if there's a little bit of truth to that. Even while talking about her husband in a positive light, Ghislaine can't help but imply that Nav is a better husband than her own. To make matters worse, only minutes later in the podcast, they bring their husbands on, where Akash is forced to sit next to the man his wife was just fantasizing about having sex with. And she once again brings up having a threesome with Nahal and Nav, while Akash is sitting right there.
I'm a hustler who scams a little bit. I'm not a scammer
I'm
who
not
hustles.
gonna lie, that was sexy, and that's why I'm actively trying to have an orgy.
I don't know. Is this some swinger shit or is this just, I don't know. There's got to be some swinger shit, bro. Just fuck them. It's in your head. Just fuck them.
Even at the end of the episode, Ghislaine once again, completely unprovoked, states that she wants to sleep with Nav.
On the main character pod, we love you, we hate you,
I guess
we respect
we
you.
love you, but I actually love you and want to all of
You would be hard-pressed to make a compelling argument that Jasleen is only joking when she brought up this topic multiple times. And when we get to hear from Akash directly about his perspective of their relationship, you almost get this sense of relief from him that he finally can express how he really feels about Jasleen's behavior.
When she's running 2 hours late to a dinner reservation that I worked really hard to get, and then I'm like, baby, we're running late, and she's like, are you kidding me? Do you know? I don't give a if we're late to this dinner. They're lucky to have us. And I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing.
Hey, you lost me at that, bro. Like all that other shit, that's just how he likes his relationship. He like to be treated like this, bro. Facts. He can change that. He can leave. He can do whatever he want. He like to be treated like this because he accepts it, right? So we could laugh at it because you wouldn't do that for yours, but if that's what he wants, then cool. But gang, like the main character thing, it's not a branding thing for podcasts. It sounds like she genuinely thinks she's the main character. Just so you know, main characters have conflict. That's what makes it entertaining. In the best storied conflict makes the best main characters. You don't have any conflict. You just sit around lounging around, fucking at the spa 8 hours a day every single day. You're not a main character. You're like an extra. That's what the extras do. You just see them in the fucking background while people are dealing with real problems. Niggas is making shit happen and solving problems in the world. You're just existing. This is the extra podcast.
#1 restaurant in the New York Times. You know how hard a reservation is?
Call them right now. Call them right now. This is not a
I'm not even joking. This is how main character I am. I was like, Sema will be lucky.
Fuck, bro. This is tough rage bait. I'm falling for it too, Chad. I swear to God, bro. Hold on. Let me warm up these lamb chops. This rage bait, we gotta take a... Everybody woosah, man. Take a breather, bro. Take a fucking breather, my nigga. This is crazy. Like, I'm really being tested right now. I know I am. This is rage bait. We know. Look, we've been here before. We've seen rage bait. Everybody good? Say good in chat. Everybody good?
Grace them with my presence tonight.
Jasleen seems to think that being the main character means being as entitled and rude as possible, with no regard for anyone else's personal feelings. Stories like these demonstrate that Jasleen's selfish demeanor isn't just played up for laughs on a podcast, but exists within her real life as well. Akash comes off visibly frustrated when talking about his wife's toxic behavior, turning it into a therapy session for him where he can finally let out his pent-up rage.
When I say I'm tired, she can't just let me be tired. I travel, I work, and I'm very blessed to do what I do.
He also has really bad insomnia.
I have really bad insomnia. I work 335 days a year. I'm so blessed to do what I do.
Okay, that's rage bait too. Like, and if you know, you know, bro. This nigga said something positive about himself, then something negative about himself, and she jumped in to double down on the negative, bro. What she's supposed to say is, yeah, you do work really hard, baby. Why not jump in on the positive? It don't hurt you. You don't think the nigga work hard?
This is not a complaint, but when I tell my wife I'm tired, I want her to say, I'm sorry, baby. I understand. That must be exhausting, buying me all these things. Instead, she goes, so am I. And if I dare open my mouth to go, what the did you do that made you tired? Now it's a problem. Now it's a fight. So I sit there.
I went to Pilates.
Oh,
Everybody woosah. Chill. Don't panic. Right now, you're aggravated. You might have punched the wall in or some shit. Did you break a monitor? Chill. Do not throw your fucking phone, nigga. Don't touch that TV, bro. This is rage bait. We're good. This is rage bait.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, there definitely is a humorous delivery to the story that Akash is telling, but it does seem to be rooted in genuine problems he has with his relationship. Jasleen displays an extremely selfish and entitled mindset, both on the podcast and in their real life. Are we really meant to believe that all of this is just funny, just jokes? Well, ironically, that's basically how Akash justifies putting up with this behavior.
Jokes. It's adorable when she does these things. Like, I just look at it, and here's a rule in our marriage. It's been unspoken, but now we're just saying it, now that we're both making content. If it's funny, we're good. Like, if it's funny, and if it's not funny and it hurt the other person's feelings, you apologize, you move on.
Any logical person understands this is an extremely slippery slope, because literally anything can be passed off as a joke or an attempt to make a joke. Like this video she posted to TikTok, where you can hear them both chuckling from time to time, but it's clear they are both frustrated and quite literally just documenting themselves having an argument.
Do you know what my husband just tried to do to me.
Yeah.
No. We're leaving. Shut up. We're leaving in Paris.
Please tell me he did not shut up when she said to.
In 5 hours, so tensions are a little high. We also just redid our closet.
This is all her closet now. She took the whole closet.
Which we already agreed upon.
And now she's saying she doesn't have no space.
And now I'm saying I don't have space for all my. I don't have space for. Can you show?
Yeah.
I don't have space for all my Indian suits because I like my dresses spaced out. Do you know?
We got to go to war, chat. We got to go to war. We need to start beefing with the country, gang. Life has gotten too easy. Life has gotten too easy, bro. We need problems. Deadass though. Deadass. Peaceful times makes weak people, bro. We got to go to war. But she could be in the front line, though, for sure. There's no way. Her preference is that she likes to space them out. So he can't have no closet space? Look, this is what I think, all right? He likes this shit. I deadass think if she panned that camera down, he'd be brick. I think his shit would be rock hard. No debate about it. Because I think he liked these little problems. I think he liked feeling like his input is useless and insignificant. I think he's into this shit. All right? She probably chokes him and shit when they fuck. They probably do all type of crazy kinky shit and she dominated niggas, stuff like that. She probably got paddles and whips and things of that nature. It's probably some, I'll keep it a buck. It's probably some slave RP in there. Maybe some cucking. Who knows? I think he's into this. I think this right now isn't even an argument. I think we're watching foreplay. I think when they put this camera down is about to get busy.
What Akash just did?
Here you go. Watch this. Oh my God.
I'm not doing
What kind
that.
of space exists?
I'm not doing that.
So what do you want to do? You want to buy a separate house with all hanger space?
No.
In another video, she
buy a bigger
documents her
house,
being
Akash.
stressed out about
Just buy a
packing
bigger
for a
house.
lavish vacation in the wealthiest area of America, which is only a 3-hour drive from their apartment.
Okay, so me and my husband are supposed to leave tonight to go to the Hamptons for 2 weeks, and I haven't even packed anything yet. So I was just like, I'm really stressed. Like, I don't want to go tonight.
It's rage bait. I know. Hey, chill. Hey, look, I'm talking to y'all, but I'm talking to me. It's rage bait. Don't respond. Don't react. It's rage bait. It's rage bait. It's rage bait. She's stressed out because she hasn't packed yet for the Hamptons. That's rage bait. That's not rage bait we should fall for. We're too elite. We're good at this shit now. All right? We do these reacts. You've heard? So let's not fall for this trap. All right? There's going to be some other shit we definitely got to respond to. We got to react to. But let's not. This was too obvious, this one right here. All right?
Because I still have to pack. I haven't even started. I have to finish my laundry.
Really, I know this is a really hard day. What did you do again?
Oh, today?
Yeah.
I had a mani-pedi.
Oh, wow, that's so stressful.
Wait, and
chill,
I had
chill,
a
chill, 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 chill.
massage.
It's how
Chill, chill,
stressful
chill,
to go to
chill,
the
chill.
Hamptons for 2 weeks. Oh, the Hamptons. Hawaii.
Akash puts up with Jaslene's selfish behavior and entitlement
Marley,
because he
resub.
thinks they're just cute jokes.
She's really stressed on a day. She had a mani-pedi and a massage, and she's going to the Hamptons. No conflict actually happened that day. She's just too lazy to get up and do laundry. But we're not gonna panic and react to that because we're better than that.
But it clearly isn't just jokes. Jasleen even says that Akash's birthday is her least favorite day of the year because it's the only day she can't be mean to him.
Okay, she might be funny.
May the 4th is Akash's birthday. And
May the 4th be with you.
Yes.
Yeah, and every year I dread it because I have to be nice the whole day, and I have to get him something, and I have to also be nice and do like acts of kindness.
She said that twice. She said that twice.
She's really not okay with it.
No. I see what this is. She's not a gold digger. She's just she's a class digger. Get what I'm saying? She's a class digger. She like living that opulence lifestyle. She don't want to work for it, right? Now, if you got a rich dad, sometimes life is easy for you, man. He's willing to bless you, things of that nature. But I promise, if he stops doing a few of the things he does for her, there's no way she'd stick around, bro. I know she's gonna say these are jokes, And I'm not gonna lie, the shit she just said was a little funny to me. Cause it's almost like so disrespectful that it's worth laughing about. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Why would you fucking say that? It's like, what possessed you want to embarrass a nigga like that?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, it's really hard.
For her, it's really hard.
For me.
She needs to just,
Listen, I'm just used to being treated like a princess all day, every day, so that one day that I don't.
Oh, what torture.
Yeah.
Akash is the Indian Will Smith. Bro,
Hell
Akash
fuck no. Respect Will Smith.
married the girl Fresh and Fit warned you not to marry. She's the embodiment of what Fresh and Fit said to avoid. Akash's rejection of Fresh and Fit's ideology now looked more like a defensive response born out of insecurity, considering her previous comments about her cheating on her husband, the unapologetically consumerist lifestyle that he funds, and the clear unsettling tension she has with Akash made many question what her true motives were in the relationship.
You know, I have a thought, chat. I think, there might be some niggas like this in the chat. Let me know. I think the people that like these bags, expensive stuff, like the stuff with no real functionality, right? If you want a big house, you got a big family, that's one thing, right? Right? Like, there's nothing wrong with luxury. But like excessive opulence, ridiculous amounts of luxury, I think these people are classist. And if you think about it, if everybody had this bag right now, it would have no value to her, right? If everybody owned that bag, that very nice, expensive, bougie bag, that would have no value. But why? It's the same bag. It should have the same value. She likes this bag because you don't have it. She doesn't like the bag for what it is. She likes the status and the class that it gives her. She almost detests being like everybody else. That's my theory. I don't know many people that's in this lifestyle, but that's why I feel like they desire the things they desire. Cause I like luxury stuff too, depending on the category. Like I like my cars. We tested a ZR1 today. But on everything I love, if all my friends got ZR1s, I would make a group chat called the ZR1 Bros and we would start doing missions together. I wouldn't feel like it lost value because a bunch of other niggas got it. Because the car is still functionally 1,000 horsepower, the best American supercar ever made, and peak. Facts. You can't change that by other people getting it. So when the SF90 is a production car, it doesn't matter to me. If anybody got an SF90, it don't mean less to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, you could like bags and not be classist, right? But I think you get to a point where when you're buying like $80,000 bags, you're really only buying a bag that you know no one else could get. One of one, one of three. And that's all you give a fuck about. That's my theory.
Many viewed Jasleen as a gold digger who had no actual emotional or romantic tie to the man that she married, and these sentiments would only grow stronger as people took notice of a very strange pattern of behavior, that being her tendency to avoid kissing Akash, and even straight up dodging his kisses when he tries to initiate.
I don't know. She's a good liar.
Then she's a good liar.
That's a friend that lies for you.
Fuck, this is cringe.
And this was not just a one-time occurrence. Entire compilations have been created showing just how often Jasleen avoids kissing her own husband. To make matters worse, not only did she dodge a kiss from Akash during their marriage proposal, but she also dodged his kiss a second time when he proposed to have their vows renewed. But Jasleen says it's nothing more than her being uncomfortable with public displays of affection.
I'll also respond to the people saying I don't like my husband because I turned away from a kiss. I've never liked PDA, physical touch. I find it really overstimulating. And so it's something I actually work through with my husband because that's... Okay,
we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. PDA, say fair. Some people don't like PDA. But you can't say you get overstimulated by touch when you went on a podcast and said that you want to be in an orgy. Look, I've never been in an orgy, but I imagine all the dicks and vaginas would be pretty fucking overstimulating.
His love language.
Now, having issues with PDA are extremely common. However, it is worth considering all of the other things Jasleen has no problem doing on camera. She's constantly talking about sex on her podcast and on her TikTok, not to mention the fact that she posted an entire video where she is clearly not wearing any pants, getting treatment for a bruise she got during and as if it couldn't get worse, she also flirts with the doctor.
Also, I heard you're single. Is that true?
We're gonna go back to treatment.
So she has no problem posting herself having very graphic conversations, half-naked videos of herself, and flirting with other men, but she draws the line at giving her own husband a kiss. Just doesn't really make sense. Not only did Jasleen look extremely shady, it now seemed like she was perfectly comfortable with lying about her relationship to make herself look better. And it turns out she wasn't just lying to her small audience, she was also lying to her own husband as well. Now, Jasleen constantly claiming that she has main character energy is particularly interesting. This is supposed to mean that you are liberated from others' judgment and confident in yourself. But for some, saying you have main character energy is just an acceptable way to admit that you are a narcissist. And narcissists tend to lie about everything, which is why many refused to believe Jasleen when she said that she was a virgin before meeting Akash. Akash has previously stated that he and Jasleen were both virgins before they met.
My wife also hadn't had any partner, so that helped us connect a lot more.
Now, let me ask you this: do you believe her?
If you've seen her, then it's hard to believe. Yeah. I remember I was just like, what?
Jasleen, in a separate podcast, made the same statement.
I was at the point where I was ready, because I don't know if you told her, because I was...
Oh no, I didn't know you were a virgin too.
So I was a virgin too when I met him.
However, posts made by Jasleen herself tell a completely different story, like the one where she reminisces on the days she spent in college, passing herself around to other men.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So for context, I went to college from 2011 to 2016. I was popping and living my best life in these white boy frat houses. And
What was you doing? Serving the drinks? What was you doing in there? What was you doing? Was you cleaning the bathroom when you was in the frats? What was you doing? You was just you was just with the girls. Okay. Got it for sure.
I had a roster of guys that I would rotate.
Now, technically, she doesn't say that she was sleeping with them, but it is heavily implied. And despite many feeling like they caught her in a lie, she surprisingly doubled down in a response to the criticism, claiming that she did in fact lose her virginity to Akash. Even though Jasleen has disabled the comments on her social media, preventing anyone from criticizing her on her own page, she still sees the backlash. And her justification for acting the way she does online just makes everything so much worse. Jasleen has made a few public responses on her TikTok where she claims that she is being cancelled, which is funny because she has nothing to be cancelled from. She has no show to be fired from, no brand deal to lose, no job, no platform that anyone could realistically take away from her. In the last few years, cancel culture has become such a buzzword that people will use as a shield against any form of criticism. If an influencer or celebrity frames their criticism as, they're just trying to cancel me, a certain group of viewers will immediately jump to their defense without doing any research. They hear the word cancel and assume it's just another example of people online trying to ruin someone's life for no reason. But Jasleen is the one who decided to blurt out all of this stuff about her relationship for the internet, and she's being criticized for it. It's that simple. But she mostly chalks up all the negative attention to just coming from red pillars and incels trying to cancel her because she doesn't fit the traditional wife role.
When you're a simple little boy, it just breaks their brain that a girl can just be loved for simply existing.
Nobody, God, she just dead ass lived life on the easiest difficulty, bro. Nobody is loved for existing. Unless it's your mom, dad, brother, sister, son, daughter, and even then, there's limits. Nobody is loved for simply existing. It's just impossible. Really, the reason why she's saying that, she doesn't even believe it. The reason why she pretends to believe it is because she actually doesn't want responsibility, bro. And she knows that if she can't be loved for simply existing, by love, she means giving things. If she can't take by simply existing, then she would wither away. She would have to figure out some response. She would have to start doing her laundry, gang. The simplest stuff. She would have to start cleaning her house. She would have to just do the defaults that every other human has to do. She would have to do the defaults.
My husband loves me for simply existing. I don't have to cook or clean to justify my worth.
Now, nobody is saying that she needs to cook and clean and fit some 1950s idea of a trad wife to have value. The issue is that publicly romanticizing other men, joking about cheating, and openly fantasizing about life before your husband isn't empowerment, it's disrespect. It's not about gender roles, it's about basic partnership and companionship. And her mentality and behavior influencing others is potentially harmful to relationships or even single people all around the world. Her second response came a few days later, after people had thoroughly scrubbed through her digital footprint. Ghislaine should have realized at this point that it was more than just incels coming after her, but she does make an interesting point about the criticism she was receiving.
Why are you mad if me and my husband are cool with each other, if we both make jokes at each other's expense? The difference is my husband will go on stage and say whatever the he wants about me. No one has anything to say. It's like, oh my God, it's so funny, it's so relatable. But then I come on TikTok and I make jokes and now you have a problem.
You're not a comedian, bro. It's not your job. You just made a podcast. That makes you a podcaster. You're allowed to talk on a podcast. Why do we have to pretend like she's a comedian just because she want to tell jokes, gang? Just because you told a half funny joke at the 10-minute mark doesn't make you a comedian, all right? It's a joke, bro. It's a joke. I was just playing.
Problem? Because I don't have a mic in my hand?
Ironically, yes. If she did have a microphone in her hand, it would be way different. If she was trying to make it as a stand-up comic and her material focused around her being a gold digger or cheating on her husband, people would likely assume that she is being self-deprecating and not to take her as seriously. Because when you are on stage with a mic, people understand that it is a form of performance art that was thought about, written, practiced, and perfected over time. But she isn't selling herself as a comedian. Her podcast is branded as Unfiltered Girl Talk, which implies that Ghislaine is offering her honest thoughts and feelings while present. Not to mention that the same things she tries to pass off as jokes, she also attempts to justify as valid opinions she genuinely has. Also, her TikTok is quite literally a behind-the-scenes look at her real life and real dynamics with her husband. She is picking and choosing what should be considered as jokes and what is serious to, again, deflect criticism. This is likely the exact same thing she does to Akash in their personal relationship, which is why he doesn't even realize he is being disrespected and humiliated. Akash certainly complains about his relationship while doing stand-up.
My wife is objectively gorgeous. Me? Nah. So that's what you gotta do. I gotta work my ass off, and then every time she starts looking at me and she starts assessing my beauty, I just throw a bag at that. Chest pass! I'm telling you, ladies, if you have a good guy, do you know what he needs? A vacation. You hear it all the time. A relationship is hard work. Marriage is a job. Well, every good job gives you 2 weeks vacation. And if you have a good man, I promise you I know what his dream vacation is. Because every good guy's dream vacation is your vacation. Go somewhere. Go anywhere you want.
But in a more personal setting, like...
The way... Okay. Cookathon... No. I mean, the joke setups are pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. But his jokes are self-deprecating. Hers are like completely the opposite. You know? Main character. They're almost just like, it's like punching down. In comedy, it's a lot harder to punch down at people. It's a lot easier to punch up or at yourself. Because people can relate to that. And then you don't come off crazy.
A podcast, for example, Akash is significantly more graceful when talking about his wife.
She just says everything she's feeling at whatever moment. It's done. She just tells me when she's pissed off at me. It just all comes out. It took me a while to appreciate that because initially I'm like, why are you so combative? What's this about? God damn, stop fighting with me all the time. And then I was like, oh no, she just lets it out and she's free. All these little social niceties that we all do where we just lie.
Bro took the simping crown from Will Smith. Feeling the pressure from all the backlash, Akash started interrupting his stand-up performances to talk about social media drama. As one fan wrote, I went to the 7 p.m. show last night and it was extremely awkward. He was clearly not processing the situation well and he ended the set 20 minutes early. He spent the first 10 to 15 minutes of the set talking about the controversy, how his wife has been loyal to him, and everything she has been saying is just jokes and is fine with him. No one in the crowd knew how to take this information, and I truly believe that the majority of fans there had no idea any of this was going on. This only made him spending like 1/3 of his set on it even more awkward. He then proceeded to jokingly call his wife a every time he brought her up, which was just not helping. I think it ruined his whole set and the mood never recovered, which I think is why he ended early. Other fans recalled a similar experience, and they all seemed to share
I personally don't think there was nothing wrong with that. I think, bro, if he's just workshopping bits and some new shit happened and he's trying to work it into a joke, I've seen plenty of stand-up comedians just sit there and just talk, just trying to work out like where the jokes may lie and shit like that. Like, I've seen some of my favorite comedians do that when they was going through bullshit. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, now if this was like an arena or something like that and a tour is different, but if he's just in some small comedy club trying stuff, then I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
the sentiment that Akash was clearly rattled by the ordeal and his performance was suffering as a result. One fan even claimed that he asked beforehand if the crowd had heard about the drama and was relieved to find out most of them hadn't. Someone else recorded a recent performance Akash did in which he tries to explain why he thinks his wife isn't what the internet says she is.
These narratives, you will call your wife a gold digger and all these other things, it's a shame. So I'm going to tell one story that I have never even told her, honestly. My wife and I met in 2014. I was not making much money. I was getting $25 a night doing stand-up. I was on MTV shows with dog shit money. But then in 2018, I went flat broke. 34 years old, I probably made $4,000 that entire year. And we couldn't even afford the living room we lived in New York City. Me and her sleeping on a hardwood floor. I'm 34 years old. She's 25 years old. I'm looking at this girl like, man, you could go be with an Indian who's a doctor. I have nothing to give her. It's just a light jacket. It's like October. We have nothing. So I hand her the jacket, and then she said, what's this for? I said, you can use that as a pillow. And then she goes, well, what are you going to use? And I said, I'll figure it out. She handed me back the jacket. She goes, you take this. And then she laid with her head on my chest and her arm around me the entire night. And I remember thinking in that moment, I don't know if I'm going to be able to marry this girl because I'm so broken. I'm in such a bad place and it's a dark time in my life. But I know I will never find a girl that loves me this much ever again.
Now this paints the narrative of a girl who was loyal to the core to a man who was at his lowest moment,
and, it was no joke
and therefore deserves the
venting.
fruits of his success. But there is a few key details that he left out, because shortly after this story that Akash explained of them sleeping on the floor, Ghislaine did actually leave him, but then came back to him when his career was revived. Akash says that he made nearly no money during the first 4 years of their relationship and then went broke in 2018. However, they both have publicly claimed that he was making a six-figure salary in 2017.
He was getting a lot of work from MTV, like his first show was Wildin' Out, and then he did Guy Code, and he was just like on a bunch of MTV shows, and he was able to like reach a six-figure salary, which at the time was really huge for us. But then in 2018, like all of the opportunities started to dry up. He was kind of aging out of the MTV bracket, and he wasn't really getting any attention from the industry. So he was pretty much losing all his income, and at the same time, I was working a really toxic job with like a toxic manager and like working till 2 a.m, and it just
she had to work. Oh, dude, that sucks. I'm so sorry to hear that. She had a bad manager? No.
Caused a lot of stress on our relationship.
I had like 7 MTV shows. I wasn't making crazy money. I was making like low six figures. But my girlfriend at the time, she moved into our place, and then all of a sudden, end of 2017, all the shows
wasn't making crazy money, low six figures.
So I went from making like a low six figures, nothing crazy, but 6 figures in 2017 to 2018, probably making like $4,000 for the whole year. I'm not even exaggerating.
Ghislaine actually did end up dumping Akash during this dark time, sparked by what she claims was a fight between her and Akash's mother. Then the two eventually got back together months later, and conveniently enough, Akash's Flagrant podcast was just starting to blow up and was making $10,000 a month in Patreon revenue.
Akash and Ghislaine finally decided to sit down and address all of the backlash on the Flagrant podcast. Andrew and the guys created this trial where they pretended to investigate Ghislaine and ask her all of the tough questions that the internet is demanding answers to. What's funny is that everyone seems to be enjoying this besides Akash. He is easily the least animated one throughout the pod and seems like he just wants to get this thing over with. Now, the two didn't say anything that we haven't heard before. Ghislaine basically chalks everything up to being just a joke or exaggerated because most people don't contextualize her background and upbringing.
Have you ever heard of the repressed Catholic schoolgirl?
Never.
I was,
Where's she going with this?
Okay. So
his Catholic school was in his living room. Imagine how repressed he was.
I was the repressed Indian girl that I didn't even watch Jersey Shore in high school because I felt it to be too inappropriate. So when I got to college, I'm like, oh my God, I can dress however I want. I can do whatever I want.
You can have a roster of frat boys.
What does a roster mean?
So it didn't actually translate to a roster. It just meant like 2 guys I was talking to and flirting with.
Oh, everybody knows, man. A roster is just 2 people. That makes up the whole team. That's what she meant.
At the same time, that's it.
That's all.
Yeah.
And when you say hooking up, I think people
When
think you
I
meant-
mean, I just meant making out again.
Oh, when she said hooking up, the word commonly used to describe sex, she just meant kissing. Oh, she should have just said that. That's where the confusion was.
Like everything I say is so amplified and hyperbolic because
she was exaggerating for effect. That answers literally everything, bro.
it's so
Nice.
like incongruous to who I actually am as a person.
We shouldn't have jumped to a
So
conclusion,
you're
bro.
saying you're a big old prude.
Yeah, literally.
Throughout the episode, Akash is kind of bullying and teasing her constantly as if this is to prove that they do it to each other and it's not just a one-sided thing, even though on podcasts before this, he is typically more
Popping
graceful
pussy
towards
equals
her
virgin.
and is not just
Yeah, dude.
outright calling her a bitch.
She meant dancing when she
She's
said
actually
popping
made a
pussy.
non-cooking ass.
God, you can make that?
Kima. This
Really?
is useless.
You can't say this with all due respect. Please. You gotta say it with all due respect. Well, I guess it's your way.
What's on the internet was right about everything. Golding a woman.
Yeah. Okay, so you can make all these things. You can make all these things.
Yeah.
One of the more interesting moments was when the two discussed her bringing up and being so persistent about having an with her co-host's husband. And again, she said it was just a joke, but in the middle of that, she remained firm in her stance that she was a virgin, and even Andrew was surprised.
So if she had a body count, I would have been like, hey, cut that. But because she doesn't, and I know how like innocent she actually is.
Oh, you are a virgin? That's real?
I was a virgin until I met him, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good to know.
Yeah.
And if she wasn't, that body count thing, I'd have been like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Because I would have been insecure about it. But I can be, not that I'm so secure, but with that joke, I'm like so secure.
Oh, I absolutely would feel insecure.
And I think stupidly, I was like, oh, it's all of us. It's not like
Yeah, that is stupid.
Yeah.
But the 87,000 dislikes on the video says that the viewers were not exactly believing whatever they were saying. Are they trying to convince us or themselves? Akash still believes her body count is 1. At this point, someone needs to interview one of those frat boys. The fake laughing is almost corporate level. That being said, it seems like Akash genuinely believes his wife is out of his league. He said publicly that she is far more attractive than... Body count is 1. At this point, someone needs being said. It seems like Akash genuinely believes his wife is out of his league. He said publicly that she is far more attractive than any woman he thought he could ever get. When you feel lucky just to be with someone, you start letting things...
Look, you know what I think, chat? I think, first of all, this is none of our business until they started posting about it. Okay? But more importantly, I think that he maxed out. He got the finest girl that he could get with the things he could provide, which in this instance, most of is money. And he's okay with that. And he's comfortable with all the things she's saying, these quote unquote jokes, knowing that he thinks she looks good and that's his girl. And as long as those two things are the case, that is genuinely his problem to deal with. Sound like he liked the problems, okay? Personally, it sound crazy to everybody else who's watching the way their relationship dynamic exists. It's like she has no responsibilities. I didn't see anything in this video about something she does for him. I don't know what she does. I have no idea. I don't know if it's like, does she just, what the fuck does she do? We have no idea. We know what he does. We know a lot of what he does. But if that's a dynamic he like, maybe he like to get taken advantage of, then he's not being taken advantage of. That's just what he's into, bro. It's still crazy.
slide that would normally hurt you. You convince yourself the jokes don't mean anything, the disrespect isn't real, and the public humiliation is just content. Jasleen behaves like someone who assumes she'll be forgiven no matter what, so she has no reason to self-reflect on her behavior because her husband doesn't push back. You can only see where this will lead. Eventually, Akash won't be able to supply her demands. The vacations aren't enough. The house isn't big enough. The clothes aren't expensive enough. The bedroom activities aren't enough. And that stuff is hard enough to deal with privately. Now he has to run the risk of her expressing all of these frustrations publicly on her TikTok and podcast. It seems that Jasleen is a product of a generation that confuses on-screen dysfunctionality.
I can't help but think, young man thinking it's the only way to get the girl your dreams. What, you mean like giving her things? I mean, it's a lot of niggas like that. It's a lot of niggas like that. Like, you don't have to look good. You don't have to do anything useful. You don't have to have a good personality. Jamie, though, like, you could get a lot of girls by just giving them things, bro. That's why niggas do it. It's like a Mario Kart shortcut for what they want. As long as the two people involved are cool with their dynamic, at the end of the day, like, you can call them niggas a trick or whatever. Like, it is what it is. It's just like, when they get on a podcast and talk about it and it feels so unbalanced, you can't help but cringe looking at her like duck. It's like she's disgusted by the nigga, bro. It's like you can't help but cringe. Like, there's no way to watch that and not cringe. You can't hear some of the things she's saying and not cringe. Like, why even put the nigga in that position, bro?
With personality, treating toxic characters as an aesthetic role model with main character energy.
Like, the closest character to me is probably Maddie from Euphoria.
Maddie from Euphoria is a character best known for her engagement in toxic relationships and selfish personality, oftentimes emotionally harming other people to get what she wants. So it's interesting that Jasleen says she can only act as Maddie because she can only act like herself. Jasleen does not...
I've seen enough call UDY.
see Maddie as a problematic teenage girl. She sees her as a diva and an icon and resonates with her as a result. If someone has a problem with her behavior, then they're just an incel or a red pillar or a misogynist. But if the pushback comes from someone that she loves, like her friend or her husband, then it's just jokes. It kind of reminds me of what's called the narcissist's prayer. That didn't happen. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it. During their initial podcast appearance, Fresh and Fit discussed the concept of men having leverage in their relationships. And while their opinions were a lot more skewed to men having the financial and emotional power over their partner, the core idea underneath it is much simpler: respect. Any normal person understands that a relationship is supposed to be 50-50, which doesn't have to mean equal income. It means equal effort, equal care, equal consideration. But in this marriage, Jasleen holds all the emotional power because Akash fears she will just leave him for someone else. And the truth is, she could. She could get someone more successful, more handsome, and he will deal with all of her shortcomings. At some point, Akash will have to draw a line, and only then will he truly figure out if his wife is just joking or not. I can only hope that this type of love never finds any of you. This relationship dynamic is eerily similar to Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, who put all of their extremely nonsensical and strange ways of just...
It's a podcast, bro. It all starts with a podcast, bro. Let's leave Will Smith out of this, bro. I feel bad for the nigga, man. W video, Patrick. W video, bro. W fucking video, man. She's bad as fuck, though. I'm not gonna lie. Once you experience bad as fuck one time, bro, you're not gonna think that no more, bro. It's not. There's no amount of bad you could be that's worth a toxic person. There's no point, bro. Dead ass. It just feels like that because you be glazing the niggas, the bitches you be seeing on IG and shit like that. It feels like a relationship with them would be perfect, bro.